Hey everybody, what's going on? Rob Sesternino back after what a wild night of Survivor this was, and I'm very excited to get into it tonight on the post-game show here with a woman who herself was once the second juror from Survivor 45, Kellie Nalbandian. Kellie, how are you?
I'm even better because you pronounced my last name flawlessly, Rob.
Flawlessly, right?
Flawlessly. I have
Look,
no
as a
notes.
Sesternino, it takes a while for people to get my last name right, but once you get it, you
Okay.
get it.
You think Sesternino and Nalbandian are on equal playing fields?
Why are you claiming that your last name is harder to pronounce?
I'm hard claiming
How
that
many
for
letters
sure.
you got? What do you got?
10.
7, 10, 10. That's what I have. We're
Okay.
both 10th place letter last names.
I got a lot of consonant repetition, you know?
Mm-hmm.
That
Yeah.
throws people off.
Okay.
People call me Nabaldian. I got a
Mm-hmm.
lot too
Well,
much hair
look,
for that.
Kellie, this isn't a last name measuring contest. Okay, we're here to
It's
talk
a
about
burping contest.
Kellie. The Wandoff is back.
What is that?
The Wandoff is the world famous Survivor song parody contest. And
Wow.
once a season, it comes out.
It
And we
does?
will have a Wandoff for Survivor 47. So, Wandoffers, stop right there and work on a Wandoff for the weekend of December 9th, 2024. So it's going to be fully encompassing the entire season when Josh Wigler joins Chappelle and me on Club Condo that night to listen
Very
to
fun.
all of your song parodies from Survivor 47.
Wow, that's great. I can't wait to hear you sing, Rob.
Well, no, the listeners are going to make their own songs.
Oh, good. Perfect.
Yeah, and they send them in. And then, Sam, do we have an email address for any instructions for what to do with those Wandoffs? Okay. All right.
Wandoff is a crazy name.
Now, Kellie, do you play the guitar?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Will you make any original song parodies for the Wandoff coming up in a couple of weeks?
Oh, wow. I could think about it. Can I recruit Brandon Dodlin to sing?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
Then we could do it.
Is he a good singer?
We're going to find out.
Okay.
Maybe we could rap. I bet he would be an
Perfect.
amazing rapper.
Yes. Kellie, this was such an interesting turn of events, and we had everybody separated and broken off into their pairs, and then we had the people who went on the reward, and they sort of like very quickly said, okay, so let's just go with Sam. Okay, that's an easy decision. Okay. Mm-hmm. Back at camp, we see Genevieve decide, I think we need to go for Saul. We've heard Genevieve in the last couple episodes talk about, I'm not looking for the big threats. I'm looking for the sneaky threats. I love that. Super interesting and very fun. But I still don't exactly know why Genevieve wants Saul out. She talked about like, yeah, he tried to go for Rome. That was my ally. I still don't trust him. Isn't it better for Genevieve, who masterfully got Saul out of the game?
Yes.
But
we'll give her credit there for sure.
I have to give her credit for what she executed, but I don't see the vision. Why get Saul out of the game?
Yeah, I left with the same thought, Rob, and I have really enjoyed watching Genevieve play. But I feel like when I was looking at the future of this game, I'm like the Lavo 3 there were, to me, like one of the more interesting groups that I feel like they could have almost maneuvered in a similar fashion to the Tika 3, right? Like bounce between these tribes, have that sort of ability. And Genevieve was really the linchpin, in my opinion, like the player who could maybe have the most winner equity of that 3. So yeah, I was surprised by her gunning for Saul this early. I think it, time will tell sort of how this works out for her. But yeah, I'm not currently seeing like why she did that. I think it's going to be, and then, the whole thing gets so chaotic. It's hard to know who's actually going to get credit for this. And I agree with you on the sneaky threats thing. Like, I am all about that. I think that, we've seen a lot of people win Survivor who aren't always the on paper threat, especially in the new era. So I think that's like a great observation from Genevieve, a great way to approach the game. I think the person who maybe had a similar idea, but about a different person, was Sam, as he's talking about Sue being so well insulated. That might be a different kind of sneaky threat, like a sneaky threat who takes your place later on in the game, who's sneaky threat who can keep going on. So it's weighing two different approaches to like the same idea.
Gabe ends up winning the individual immunity, and you were a fan of the Ray Lewis sack dance.
Yeah, what does Gabe do for the Ravens? He does radio.
I don't think he does anything for them.
Oh,
I think he does. I think
he's like a radio host.
Yeah.
Gabe, the dance, I think it's so nice to shout out your hometown, but I don't know if we're going to see Gabe on Dancing with the Stars. He's got the dance moves for radio. But
that's going to be my new go-to gif, Gabe dancing.
Yeah, I mean, Ray Lewis is a deep cut, so he's showing his knowledge there.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Okay. Star of CBS's own Beyond the Edge.
I have a question for you, Rob.
Yes.
If you won immunity and you had to do a dance.
Yes.
Yeah, just like Gabe. What dance would you do?
The Carlton.
Okay. Nice.
It's not unusual for me to win immunity.
You would sing as well. You would just take it one step
right
up.
into the song. And it's parody, so they could use it.
Perfect.
They could use it.
Exactly.
Not the first time I sang on the show, So then following all of that, we had 4 people who lost their votes. Tell me, this is hot take alert. Should I hide under the desk? I kind of liked how they determined who lost a vote.
You mean the Jenga thing?
Yeah.
I didn't hate it.
I kind of like it. Right. I feel like we're sort of like in the
the cave was very cool. I'm all in on the cave.
Cave was cool. Yeah, I feel like we're playing like Mario Party mini game here of like, okay, 4 people. All right. Oh, who's gonna lose the vote?
It's like Kerplunk, It's like, really? This is what's happening. It was like
reverse
really
Jenga.
Funny. My season was like, do an extremely difficult math equation. And here they're like, stack some things, stack some cards.
Yeah. But it was tense. I liked it.
It was tense. And you know what? Last week, I tweeted about Caroline being the world's greatest cheerleader. If Sue finds an idol, she's happy for her.
Yes.
If Genevieve has a good strategic idea, she's happy for her. When Rachel puts down that magnetic block, she's happy for her. She's like,
was epic.
And then she's like, oh, I lost my vote. I mean, Caroline, she's like, what do they say on Big Brother? Team Fun Feeds, right? Mm-hmm. She's like there for the good time. She's happy that it's the most interesting outcome.
Yeah. So I kind of like this. I thought this was fun. It would be, I think, also interesting if they ended up doing this like again in the future. If it was like a game that was like a little bit more of like a strategy type game where it's like, okay, who am I trying to box out? Where it's like, okay, of the 4 people here, like, who am I trying to, like, they've done that before where it's like, okay, step on a tile, turn it over, and you can sort of like try to be like targeting like one person.
Somebody,
Might be interesting to see the 4 people who potentially losing their vote, like, they have to show their hand. Who are they trying to get to not have a vote?
Yes, I love that. That's so
It's fun, like a little bit of a vote before the vote. It's like,
that's a great idea.
I lost my vote. Let me just...
I think lost votes are here, whether we like it or not. I definitely prefer it in the pre-merge versus the merge. I think it's so critical there. And I think it's fun when, like, we talked about this last time I was on your show too, the whole like lose your vote, your ally goes home, and using shot in the darks in a creative way, which Rachel did here. Like, if the players themselves want to give themselves a lost vote, like, that's more interesting than like it being assigned to them. Do you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. And look, Genevieve is super fun to watch on the season. Kind of like that Sue, and rightfully so, going through the blind side of Sierra, who, like yourself, succumbed to the margarita curse.
Oh my God, I didn't.
What's
even
in the
know.
margarita?
And let me tell you, not a lot of tequila. I felt
Yes.
nothing. So I don't know. Well, I guess if anyone goes on Survivor again, don't buy the margarita or don't drink it. I don't know.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah.
my official advice.
Maybe just like if you get the margarita, like, hey, I want to pour one out for all the margarita curse people. I want to pour one out for
Perfect.
Kellie Nalbandian,
I would love
Sierra,
that. You know, perfect.
Jeffra.
Jeffra, of course.
When Rachel confirms for us, she played the shot in the dark to get the read on the room.
Oh yeah. We love it.
Well,
Everyone loves
reaction.
that.
Yes.
I was just live tweeting, not Blue Sky, now I'm Blue Sky, away last episode. Wasn't the best week. And that was my favorite. That was my high of the week, was Rachel doing that. And I'm sure that we have given her many accolades, many deserved accolades over the last week.
She won a fishy.
It's nice to hear it confirmed. I think it's so interesting in general. I was wondering if she even took it a step further and was thinking like, well, wouldn't it be fine and dandy if no one even knows where I would have voted? And so now I haven't screwed over anybody. And now I get Genevieve coming to me with this plan, whereas I may have voted against her last time, but now I didn't even vote. So no one can really, ooh, poor me, poor Rachel's on the bottom.
I appreciated that Rachel said, "Nah, you give me a little too much credit."
Yeah, that was what a humble queen. But I mean, I actually,
a lot of other survivors was that yes, all of the things.
Yes,
I thought of everything.
So great. Yeah, she's very honest, and we love that about her. But yeah, I love I know the conversation between Rachel and Andy was very long, but I thought it was so interesting. Clearly, these are two integral players to the story, I think, given the time that they got there. But I thought it was just so interesting because for me, like when I came into play Survivor, I feel like I viewed the game like both Andy and Rachel did, which was like, even if you screw me over, or even if something doesn't go, whatever, like if it makes sense in the future, we can work together. And I think a lot of players in the new era are like this, but for me, a surprising many are not. For Andy and Rachel to find each other in this way, I thought was so fascinating. I think it's great when you have two players like this come together. I'm really looking forward to how this plays out in the future, because it didn't really play out in this episode. So I have to assume maybe next episode or something, this has an important piece of it. But I think this was a great for both Andy and Rachel, how they were speaking about it and how they looked at the game. Really just super fun and interesting for me, like kind of my favorite type of strategic thought there.
Yeah, it's interesting for the two of them because they've never really directly targeted each other. I guess Rachel was ready to vote out Andy when on the Annika vote, but
it wasn't like she was driving it herself. She felt like it was sort of like the status quo, essentially.
Right. She thought that the whole tribe was doing it. And so it's going to be very interesting to see if these two are going to be able to work together and really where this is all going to go next. You mentioned Gabe going in the Drew Basile spot. I think what I'd like is for Drew Basile to learn the Ray Lewis sack dance for next time he goes back on Jeopardy.
Have you ever seen Drew Basile in the pigeon mask?
The pigeon mask? No.
You want to know nightmare fuel?
Yeah.
It was honestly so hilarious, and Drew surprised me very much with a very funny pigeon mask dance. I think Drew would probably be a hit in the Ray Lewis. I don't know if he was. I don't think he likes the Ravens though. He's from Detroit Lions. I don't know.
Yeah.
I would love to
see
that. Who do you think? I don't know. Who would be the best dancer?
Sifu says it's nightmare fuel for sure. Star of Sifu games.
Sifu did the dance on the barge. He didn't pre-immunity win or anything. He was already dancing. So.
What were you going to ask? Who do I think? What?
I think I was going to ask, who do I think on this cast? Not that we don't think Gabe did a wonderful dance. Who would do the best dance?
Of this cast?
Who would really send it? Sue did wear Rome's tank top.
Yeah.
Maybe
I
she
mean,
would have brought the lightning.
Rome was moonwalking.
True. Yeah, but okay, of who's left? Yes, Rome would have obviously ate that, right?
Yeah.
Clearly.
How about Teeny?
I loved Teeny this whole episode. Of just poor Teeny has taken some L's, in this game.
But Teeny's eaten so much.
It's so much. I mean, man, I am jealous.
Get a rice negotiation this season?
I don't think they need rice.
Yeah.
At this point, they're gaining weight.
I wonder if maybe that there is so much food rewards that maybe we're not going to get a rice negotiation.
Yeah, they saw Rachel stealing it, and they were like, "No rice for anyone now."
Yeah,
Jeff is evil, as we saw.
Spicy.
But didn't he was like, "Welcome to my torture chamber" when they walked in. Do you remember? Jeff is really into accents these days.
Yes, Shakespeare in the Park. So, torture chamber. Real quick, that December 4th, just a couple of weeks from tonight, I'm going to be in Houston, Texas for another RHAP live show. Yes, you're copying my pose?
Yes, I love it.
Is that a meme?
It could be. You know what's going to be a meme? Teeny's gif of her. That was great.
Yes?
Oh, yeah. It's already a meme. Mike Bloom was using it. And if Mike Bloom does something, it's happening.
Okay. Mike Bloom does something, it's happening. And
you
so
can quote
is
me on
our
that.
live show in Houston. robswebsite.com/Houston for tickets. Should be a very fun night. And let's get into some questions from the listeners. And okay. All right. Sifu says, love Saul. Ask her to spell my name.
Listen, I finally learned.
Can you spell Sifu?
Yeah. You can't forget. That was my most memorable moment of my entire Survivor career was I don't have a pen and paper, Sifu, but if I did. You
misspelled Sifu's first name?
Yes. Where have you been, Rob?
Seafood?
Yes, basically.
I'm sorry, Kelly. I didn't memorize every single vote in the history of the show.
You memorized how to say my last name, but not that I wrote Seafood. I wrote it like SEAFOU, which I hate to be replaying again in front of everybody. Not my finest moment. But the funny thing was that, when the votes were read live, they didn't show my vote. And I was like, oh, phew. I'm not going to get... It's going to be fine. And then on the show, they showed me immediately roasted. Yeah, that was rough.
Got it. But he told people he didn't have his vote also.
Yeah, so that's what I was wondering, like going into this. I was like, were people going to lie?
Bruce got to eat the chicken with no utensils.
Yes. How could we? You remember that, but you don't remember seafood?
I mean, that's very memorable. The chicken
like Kendra
with no utensils.
Eating chicken, like Kyle eating chicken. I would say that from my perspective, the only person who really benefited from it being Sierra versus Sam is Andy. Otherwise, I was like, I feel like you should probably get Sam here. He seems like a bigger threat than Sierra. So yeah, I think Teeny had the right read and then didn't sort of like push hard, which, it's you don't necessarily want to push hard at like final 11. Like it's a little bit nerve wracking, right? I don't know. Teeny's like that song Tub Thumping?
Yeah.
Get knocked out.
Get knocked out.
But I get up again.
Yeah.
Teeny, I think next week Teeny's got to like.
Also, Teeny drinks a whiskey drink and a vodka drink.
That's true.
Yeah.
They enjoy the Survivor social hour of it all, right?
Yeah.
I can't believe I'm talking about Chubbawamba on here. Anyway, I think that
believe it.
We got to see what happens next week with Teeny.
Kelly, how do they decide what seats you sit in at Tribal Council?
So they have a chart that they show you and say like, hey, this is where you're sitting. So again, this is my conjecture, but I do think that there is a lot of strategy involved in putting together these seats. I think if you're in the middle, you know that you're
where do you want to be? What's the best seat?
Here, I mean, I was just going to say my theory is a little blown up by the fact that Saul was all the way on the end. Because I do think that like usually if you're on the ends, like you're not pivotal. But but it might be like maybe you're not the one driving the decision. I think the people in the middle are often driving the decision.
Yeah, so you feel like they sit the people in the middle that have the biggest role to play in the tribal council.
Yes, and then sometimes that includes the people who are in the hot seat, and sometimes it doesn't. Maybe that was just an attempt to try to get Saul to get up because Teeny is across the entire way, and they want a live tribal, so that would make everybody stand up and talk to each other.
But if you could pick your seat, what seat would you pick at this 10-person tribal council? Do you want to be in the middle of everything? Do you want to be all the way to the side so you could see everything in your vision?
I think so there's 2 rows, right? When you're in the front, it's very hard to see what's going on behind you. So even though you're getting less face time, I think the back row gives you a little bit more visual on everybody, at least everyone's body language. So maybe back row, not right in the middle, but back like middle to one side, not too far.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know. This is getting ridiculous.
What? Which is the best seat?
This is what people are like, oh, Survivors 2, game body. This is what they're talking about.
We're an hour into the podcast. What do you want from us? This is a good question.
It is a good question.
What's the best seat?
It is interesting. I think it does impact stuff. And now I retrospectively, I'm like, oh, I should have friggin' known I was going home. I never sat in the front until that day.
Yes. So you feel like you sit in the front row.
That was the first time I
look at Saul. Saul was all the way in the end.
But he still was in the front.
So you want to be in the second row, not the front row?
I think so.
Okay.
It might change at different stages of the game, by the way.
Yeah. Okay.
We could do a burning questions video on that, Rob.
Yeah, that'd be great. Okay. Kelly, anything else on your mind in terms of where we're at in Survivor 47?
I don't know. I'm ready for the tsunami.
The tsunami.
Haven't you seen her tweets? The tsunami is coming.
Is that what she said?
Yeah. She's really running with the tsunami of it all. I love it. I think it's great. Very creative.
But Kelly, thank you again for joining us for this. You're such a natural at doing these.
Oh, thank you so much. I love doing it. I think it's so fun.
Kelly, what other reality shows do you watch?
I watch The Traitors.
Yes.
I watched the entirety of The Anonymous. I don't know if anyone else.
Yes, you mentioned it earlier.
I enjoyed The Anonymous very much. I loved it. Yeah, I thought it was great.
Yeah. I saw Nina at UNC last week.
Do you see what I'm about to pull out here?
No, what do you have?
I want you to know, Rob, I missed the summit for this. So I really
kept up.
For sure, of course.
Yes, okay.
I love to watch people cross ravines. So anyway, I love the summit. I'm gonna have to go rewind my TiVo and watch the summit. So